It has come to my attention that through the comments and stuff, that people need to know how to change down. People are a bit worried about changing down if they're in a manual car. And I get that, yeah, that happens on lessons a lot. So yeah, I'm not surprised, but like the comments have just started talking in about need to know how to change down, or can you talk about changing down and stuff like that? And yeah, of course I can. So I love this subject. It's probably my favourite subject, and the reason being is because I drive a manual car. I'm absolutely devastated that things are going to be turning into automatic. That's another video. Devastated. Anyway, so changing down, okay, is a case of getting your speed right, and it's going to be slower than you think. Okay, I've taught thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and their perception of roundabout speed, as an example, learners always think that the roundabout is going to be a load faster than it actually is. Roundabouts are slower than you think. If you retain loads of speed, you're going to leave the clutch down because you cannot lift the clutch in time. Even if you've changed down, you're going to coast through the roundabout, which means leaving the clutch down because you're just driving too fast. The other thing that will happen is if you're coming up to the roundabout far too quickly, is you'll have to prioritise between safety and position, because you won't be able to do both because you'll be going so fast. So what tends to happen if the student's coming up way too fast and doesn't kill their speed as they should, they tend to prioritise the danger, which is sensible, but then we're all over the shop with our position, which therefore can make it dangerous in itself. So for example, I did a very big lesson on roundabouts yesterday, and the student was going far too fast, far too quickly. And because she didn't have the skill level yet, I had to hold the wheel and make sure we didn't cross any lines because we are going far too fast. To be able to learn how to drive, you need to go slowly and get the information in your head. And then when you've got it, you might be able to take the hazards at a slightly faster speed in a safe way, perhaps. It is really important that you don't do things quickly, because the learning process will just take longer. You get all of these people in your private life saying to you, oh, it's really important that you go faster, and learners are annoying and you need to go quicker and you've got to go fast because it's just flipping annoying. If you are not a skilled driver yet, adding speed to the drive is just dangerous. You must learn it slowly or in a slower capacity first. So you're like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing on this spiral roundabout. I know to stay in my lanes. If you're gunning it down there with absolutely no knowledge about what you're doing, you're going to be all over the shop. And this student said to me, isn't it dangerous if I go slower? No, we need to learn it. And then when you've got it, feel free to go faster. Because otherwise you're just going into a room with spikes in it with a blindfold on and running. Okay, it is dangerous. Learn things slowly. My analogy is if you were playing Sonic, you know, that's that game, and you speed through it because you know that you can go really fast, you're going to hit those spikes and you're going to lose all of your rings because you don't know where the spikes are yet. You're going to have to do the Sonic game a little bit slower and find out where those spikes are to jump over them. Learn it all. Then you can do the Sonic level faster, and you can go really fast. Not saying that you're going to break the speed limit, by the way. I'm just using it as an analogy. Sonic only, okay, with his little red shoes on. And then you can go faster, and then you can jump over the spikes because you know that they're there. You've got the knowledge, you've got the wisdom of where the spikes are, yeah? You need to have the wisdom about how to drive before you add speed in a legal way to your drive. You can't expect to learn something quickly and be good at it. You need to learn it in steps and go, got this. This is proper easy now, yeah? So what I'm going to do is a demonstration drive today, and I'm going to focus on changing down. It's going to be, I'm not going to really, I might speak about other stuff knowing me, but I'm going to focus on changing down. And the process is going to be off gas, onto brake, and then clutch down and continue to brake, okay? And this part is extremely important. I call it speed down, gear down, okay? It's really, really important. Or you're going to hear me saying braking, 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 clutch down, continue to braking, 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 second gear, braking, braking. The amount of speed that you need to kill off is a lot, because when you're doing your junctions, you need to do them at walking pace. Okay, you need to walk round your junctions, walk round the roundabout, a fast walking pace. You're on a mission to go to work and you're walking fast. It's about 7 miles an hour when you actually do a turn, a normal turn, okay? Some are sharper, you may have to go slower, okay? But normal, just bog standard stuff, walk round the corners. If you're going too fast, you're going to coast, you're going to lose control, you're going to feel out of control, you're not going to feel confident, you're going to be wide, your position's going to be all over the shop, and you'll sit there afterwards going, I don't think I actually know what just happened. You know, because you didn't actually do it. Your driving instructor did it. I try really hard, very, very hard, never to touch my controls in the car or steer for my students. Sometimes I watch videos. I hardly ever watch videos of other driving instructors, by the way. I hardly ever do it because I can't be bothered, to be honest. But when sometimes a video comes up on my screen of another driving instructor and they're holding the wheel, yeah, as standard, no, basically. You should be able to do that with your words. Interacting with the controls and the steering as standard. I know how to drive. I don't want to touch the controls. I know how to drive. I need to tell you what to do and then you do it. I only want to touch the controls if you're doing something wrong, like my student, yeah, yesterday. Way too fast. We were going to have an accident if I didn't touch the wheel. We needed to go a lot slower. Slow down, yeah. Then your instructor doesn't have to touch anything, doesn't have to do anything, because you've taken the reins, you've taken the flame, you're being independent, you're getting rid of your driving instructor as soon as possible. Get off my steering wheel. I don't need your help. Yeah? You don't want your driving instructor to go for the wheel or the brakes. You want to know what you're doing and be like, don't need you anymore. Thank you so much for your help. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, thank you. I'm not going to give you any more of my money now. All right? I'm going to go and do this myself. And that's what you want, right? So I'm going to do a demonstration drive, like I say, focusing on speed by brake, speed by gear, speed down, gear down, okay? And I really hope this helps you today, because people are calling out for it on YouTube. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you on the road. Approaching a roundabout, which I'm hopeful to use second, but I don't know what's going to happen. It may be busy. Mirrors to the right, signal to the right. Off gas, onto braking, 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 clutch down, braking, into second. I can go off brake, coming back up to the bite, so I'm not coasting. No need to signal out of this small roundabout because it's made of paint. Mirrors, increasing my speed, noticing the parked vehicles around here, looking at the gap, looking at the gap, looking at the gap, thinking about the pedestrians, looking at the gap, checking my mirrors. Looking at the gap, checking my mirrors for overtake. Ignoring the white line if I need to, because if there's enough space I can. Property is more important than the paint. Mirrors to the right, signal to the right. Speed by braking, 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 braking. Clutch down, second gear, braking, braking. Off brake, clutch coming up to the bite. Off clutch completely, in the road. Checking my mirrors for the new road. At the roundabout we're going to go to Prestbury. The exit is slightly after 12 o'clock, so I need the right hand lane. That's confirmed by the lane choice sign here, the white one. So I'm checking my mirrors. Positioning in the right lane, off gas, onto braking, 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 clutch down, braking, braking, second gear, off brake, clutch coming up. No need to signal because I'm going straight on, that's the design of the roundabout. Going round, mirrors to the left, signal to the left to help this oncoming car come into the roundabout. Increasing my speed to get away from the hazard, changing up to third. At the roundabout we're going to go straight on, second exit, mirrors off gas, onto braking, 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 braking. Hopeful gear is second, clutch down, second gear, braking, 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 looking off brake, coming back up to the bite. It gives you plenty of time to see if you can go. Plenty of time. If you're going too fast, you won't be able to see the blockers. You won't be able to work out what's going on. Turning right at the roundabout, mirrors to the right, signal to the right, speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, braking, braking. I can go off foot brake, back up to bite. No need to signal out. At the roundabout, turn right. So mirror signal, got pedestrian crossing first, off gas, onto braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, off brake, clutch coming up, gently, turning left, mirror signal, going down into first gear just to give the pedestrians a bit more time, checking my mirrors for extra pedestrians on my left. Going to turn left, mirrors to the left, signal to the left, overrun, which means come off gas, onto braking, 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 clutch down. I'm not going to change gear because the lights have only just stopped. So I'm going to go handbrake out of third and relax. Now I've just come off everything. At the junction, I'm going to turn right, mirrors to the right, signal to the right, off gas, onto braking, 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 reducing my speed down, braking, 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 clutch down. I can see that I can't go, so I'm going to go down into first gear with a block gear change. Checking to see if I can make the gap. No, I don't feel comfortable with that. Checking my mirrors again. Looking for the other gap. Now the red light's gone anyway, so I have to go. It's committed. At the roundabout, we're going to be going straight on. So mirrors to overtake the parked cars. Off gas, onto braking, braking, braking. It's extremely closed. I can't see anything. Braking, braking, clutch down. Block gear change into first. Braking, 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 looking to the right. Can't see at the normal line, so I'm going to peep and creep out. Checking, 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 creeping, creeping. Yep, I can go. So I had to go over the line to create more vision for myself. It's okay to go over the line if you can't see. That is absolutely fine, okay, guys? You can't make any guess, luck or hope decisions. So if you can't see at the line, you need to creep forward, put your face forward, lean forward in the car, look round, yeah, really, really important. If you can't see at the line because of an overgrown bush or something's in the way, you creep forward, and that's totally fine. Okay guys, so I'm in fifth gear now. There's been quite a lot of traffic on this 60-mile-an-hour road, so I'm checking my mirrors for the 30. Coming off the gas, that's called overrun. Speed by braking, 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 checking my speed, braking, 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 braking. I'm at 30 now, clutch down. Fourth gear, coming up to the biting point, using the gas. So that was speed by brake, speed by gear. I used my brake first so it was efficient and it worked well. If I put my clutch down first, I'm going to speed up slightly, which I certainly don't want. So I'm going to be using my brake first so it's efficient, everything's connected and my brake works well. Then I'll put the clutch down and then I'll brake more. So turning right at the roundabout, mirror signal. Speed by braking, braking. It's a closed roundabout, so I'm going to use first braking, braking, clutch down, first gear as I continue to braking, braking, braking. Looking to the right, no one there. Coming up to the bike, lifting and dipping my clutch slightly just so I can get around the white paint properly. Mirrors into second. Going to stay in second at the moment because it's quite busy here. Checking my mirrors, looks like there's some kind of traffic jam. Checking my mirrors to the right. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, braking, 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 first gear. Pause, handbrake on, off the foot brake. I'm going to go soon, so I'm leaving my clutch down. Checking my mirrors, looks good. Checking my mirrors, there's a parked car, mirrors. Considering whether I can fit through the gap, mirrors, yeah, I think I can. Checking my mirrors, looking at the gap. Checking my mirrors to the left. Returning back to normal position. Notice that I did drive over a bus stop, that's totally fine. Just can't park there. Checking my mirrors to overtake the parked car. I can ignore the white line because property is more important than paint as long as I've got the space with the oncoming person there. Because it's his priority. If there wasn't space, I'd give way. Coming up to a double mini roundabout. I'm going to go to third just so I can have a little bit more of a show of what's going on here. So mirrors, we're going to go straight to the first, left at the second. Mirrors, speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, off brake, clutch coming up to the biting point. Mirrors to the left, signal to the left. I can go at the next roundabout as well. Mirrors. Into third, checking my mirrors. Lights are red. Off the gas. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, off brake, clutch coming back up to the biting point. Yeah, let's turn left. Mirrors, signal. That's a good idea. I was going to go straight on, but I'll turn left. A few more turns until I get to my driving lesson. Checking my mirrors. Taking the next road on the right. Mirrors to the right. Signal to the right. Speed by. Braking, 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 braking. Clutch down. First gear because I can't go. Braking, braking, braking. Checking my mirrors. No one overtaking me. I can go now. Checking my mirrors. Obstruction in the road. Mirrors. Chicane. Mirrors to the left. Looking nice and far ahead. Changing to third just so I can show you gear changing. Mirrors, speed by braking, 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 clutch down. Block gear into first gear. Checking my mirrors. Staying on the biting point for 2 car lengths. Looking at the sign, it's my priority at the junction. Junction? At the chicane. Don't know where that came from. Changing into third. Checking my mirrors to the left to come back in. Looking ahead. Even though it's my priority, I need to make sure that the oncoming person has got a space to go into for me. So I can't be too aggressive down here because he needs the oncoming car there, that black one, does need to stay out of my way. Yeah, he's decided to stay there, so I'm continuing. I'm not going to speed up or anything because he's already monitored my speed and he's happy with that. Turning left, mirrors, signal, speed by braking, 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 clutch down. Second gear, braking. There's a parked vehicle around the corner. I may need to use first. No, I can see it's clear. Back up to the biting point. I did consider first gear because there was a van very closely parked to the junction. Third gear, so I can just show you changing down. Mirrors to the right, signal to the right. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, off brake, clutch coming back up to the biting point. Pedestrian safe, checking my mirrors to overtake the van. Whatever that is in the road. Bleh. I thought it was a hedgehog to begin with. Checking my mirrors. Into third gear. There's a bend coming up with parked cars on the bend. Really hate that. Mirrors. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, first gear. Checking my mirrors. That was a block gear change from third to first because I never needed second. Mirrors. Changing up to third so I can show you gear changing. Mirrors to the right, signal to the right. Closed junction, can't see. Braking, 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 clutch down, block gear change to first gear. Looking right, looking left, checking to see if I can go. Yep, that looks fine. Driving over the bus stop because I can, I just can't park there. Car should have used a signal to the right when he left the side of the road. It would have been less shocking for me. Mirrors. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, clutch coming back up again. That was a gear change from fourth to second. At the end of the road, turn left, mirrors to the left, signal to the left. Speed by braking, 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 braking. It's an open junction. I feel comfortable to stay in second. I could see everything. I can fit through this gap, mirrors. Staying in second, looking at the gap, looking at the gap. Wobbly bike, looking at the gap, 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 looking at the gap. Wobbly bike, I don't feel comfortable to overtake the bike with it being so wobbly. Closed roundabout, mirrors. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Clutch down first gear, looking to the right, yeah, looks fine. It was quite closed on the right. Mirrors to the left, signal to the left to exit the roundabout. This is a very wobbly bike. Staying behind at least 1.5 meters. Checking my mirrors to the right. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Narrowness, braking, braking, braking. Clutch down, second gear, off brake, clutch coming up. So that's the same routine right there. I needed exactly the same routine as a roundabout or a turn. It was speed by brake, speed by gear. Mirrors, speed by brake for the pedestrian. Don't need to change gear, mirrors. Increasing my speed again. It's a one-trick pony, guys. It's speed by brake, speed by gear, but you just need to brake enough so you're walking round the hazards. Seriously, If you're going too fast, changing down is really hard. It's a speed reduction. That's what you need. It's a dramatic speed reduction. You know, if you're driving around at 30 somewhere and then you do a hazard that you need to walk around the corner, that's a huge reduction of speed. If you're going to do it at 7 miles an hour, that's like 23 miles an hour that you need to kill off. Turning right at the roundabout, mirrors to the right. Signal to the right now that I've passed the turn. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Clutch down. Block gear change into first gear because I need to give way. Need to give way. Handbrake on. Off the foot brake. Yep. Finding the bite. No need to signal out of that roundabout because it was a mini one. Checking my mirrors to overtake. Looking at the gap. Looking at the gap. Crossing the line because I can and I should because of the parked car. Checking my mirrors. Speed by brake, speed by gear is the trick of changing down, okay? So if you're in a town and you're doing a junction, it's probably going to be second or first that you use, depending on whether it's open, you can see, or it's closed, you can't see, and that would be first. If it's open, we're going to be hopeful for second, not that we can use it because it may be busy, but we're hopeful for second. And then if it's really, really closed and you can't see a thing, you need more time. You need to create more time to see if you're safe. Like this roundabout, for example, is very closed. There's a big fence on the right. So mirrors, speed by braking, 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 braking. Clutch down, block gear change into first gear. No one else. Coming up to the bite, holding it for 2 car lengths, checking my mirrors. Chicane, speed by braking, 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 braking. Clutch down. Block gear change to first gear from third. Checking my mirrors. Commotion up ahead with the van and the pedestrians. Checking my mirrors. Staying on my bike for 2 car lengths. This speed bump is absolutely massive. I've got to be careful. This is getting really bad, this speed bump. Absolutely horrible. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Because of the igloo, actually that looks fine. Checking my mirrors. Forced to overtake here on the zigzag lines because there was no other choice. Normally zigzag lines mean no overtaking. Checking my mirrors. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Clutch down, first gear, off brake. Clutch coming up to the bite, holding it for 2 car lengths. Checking my mirrors to come back into the left, coming back to the left to drive over the bus stop. Notice I can drive over the bus stop, it's fine. Bends in the road, sign on the left. It reminds me to be in a working gear. Working gear is 1, 2 and 3. So if you've got double bends or bends in the road, it's a good idea to be in a working gear where you can turn the wheel if you need to. 4, 5 and 6 are more related to straight roads because they're your cruising gears. Checking my mirrors. When we get to the roundabout, we're going to go straight on, second exit, off gas. There's a pedestrian nearby. Off gas, speed by braking, 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 braking. Pedestrian, I can give way to this one. I've got time. Clutch down as I'm braking, braking. Second gear, checking the roundabout. Yeah, I can go. Mirrors to the left. Signal to the left. Coming out. So you can see there that had 5 exits, that roundabout. So if I was going far too quickly, I would have never have known whether I can just go straight away. I would have panicked and had to emergency stop. Keep in good position. Mirrors to the left. At the roundabout, turn right, mirrors to the right, signal to the right. Speed by braking, 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 braking. Clutch down, second gear, coming up to the bite. No need to signal out of the mini roundabout. Thinking about the car doors opening, thinking about potholes. Left at the roundabout. Mirrors to the left, signal to the left, speed by braking. It's closed, so I'm going to go to first gear. Braking, braking, braking. Clutch down, first gear. Pedestrians hadn't made a clear decision about what they wanted to do, so I safely ignored them. Can't emergency stop for somebody who's just arrived like that. It wouldn't be safe for the person behind me. Speed by braking, braking, braking. Checking my mirrors. Ignoring the white line, because I need to. Protect property over paint. Checking the mirrors. I need to be careful here, this is a bit tricky. Checking my mirrors. Speed by brake. Clutch down into second. Looking nice and far ahead. Gonna keep to the left. Red car's parked badly. Van ahead. Checking my mirrors. Checking my mirrors. Thank you. checking my mirrors. Don't feel comfortable to overtake on a bend, staying behind, keeping at least 1.5 metres, 1.5 to stay alive. That's the slogan. If it was a faster road, 2 metres. Checking my mirrors, noticing if I can go. There's a cyclist on the other side. No, don't feel comfortable with it because of the cyclist. Checking my mirrors, checking my mirrors. Don't feel comfortable because of the scooter as well. Checking my mirrors. Now I feel comfortable, checking my mirrors. Overtaking, checking the side junctions just in case any cars are approaching too quickly. Checking my mirrors. Checking my mirrors to the left. Take the next road on the left, mirrors to the left, signal to the left. Overrun, speed by braking, 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 clutch down, braking, braking, second gear, off brake, clutch coming up if it's clear, second gear. Really slow, checking for oncoming vehicles. It's extremely busy in here, but I have decided that I can still stay in second. Checking my mirrors, turning right, mirrors, signal, speed by braking, 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 clutch down. Block gear change into first. Handbrake on, off the foot brake, stance with my clutch down. Checking my mirrors again, turning right, no one to give way to because it's not that design. Checking my mirrors. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, first gear. Following the road round to the right, speed by braking, 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 closed pedestrian crossing, down into first gear, searching for pedestrians. I can make it before him. Pedestrians and open doors. Pedestrian crossing. Speed by braking, 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 turning left. Braking, braking, down into first gear. Staying on the biting point for 2 car lengths. Got a pedestrian near a pedestrian crossing. Can I make it before him? Nope. I'm going to stop here. It's fine for me to be at this slightly unusual angle because I've done the roundabout and then I've got a new hazard to stop for. I did not have to pair up the roundabout and the pedestrian crossing as a couple. They were separate items, so I did the roundabout and then I stopped for the new hazard, which was the pedestrian crossing. Speed by braking, 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 clutch down, second gear, off brake, coming back up to the biting point. See how slowly I'm doing all those junctions? Checking my mirrors. It's so important that you reduce the speed down. Speed by braking, 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 braking. Checking my gear. It was second. I took it out of second and then put it back in, which is absolutely fine. By the way, just want you to know that is fine. If you've forgotten which gear you're in and you take it out of second, just put it back in, just like me.